Yeah. This is the come on. You know what I'm saying, man? No more games. We playing for keeps nowadays. Yeah, cause when I got it, we gon' all come up. Cause when I got it, we gon' all come up. I tell my niggas when I got it, you got it, man, we'll all come up. We guarantee that I all come up. The guys that been coming out the good. We here, nigga, what up? My crew on the movement for millions, we gonna come up. These niggas ain't looking like suckers, but busters. Been mad that we making some figures and they can't touch us. We making known that homie is over, we on the rise. Before we ever rap for the money, it's for the lives. All you clowns sound retarded and phony, man, I'm surprised that you 15 minutes ain't over yet. When I was time and the clock is ticking, it's over, we finna blow. I guess them hating niggas.
Alright, so we were talking off camera, the Illmind business plan. You know, he's got the master plan is floating around up in there. He's not gonna reveal all of it.
Yeah.
But you know, he can talk a little bit about it.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, basically, you know, as far as the business plan goes, I mean, you always, the way I approach it is you have to really know where you want to be in, let's say, 2 years. You know, what's your 2-year plan? You know, I have a 2-year plan where I know I want to be. You know, and then I have a 5-year plan, and a 10-year plan, long-term goals. But really, the fact of the matter is, like, you just really have to set goals. I mean, there's goals that you want to attain, and then you just kind of work your way into it, and you know, do what you need to do to reach that particular goal. So I'm at a point right now in my career where, you know, I have a good handful of things going on to where, you know, I'm constantly just kind of reaching and perfecting what I'm doing. You know, one example is these Lap Charms and Life mixtapes that I'm doing. I mean, this is a fairly new thing that I'm doing, but we're at the 3rd installment about to come out right now, and it's, you know, highly successful in my standards right now. And I'm just doing that and putting an event together, having sponsors, having clothing sponsorships, getting misinfo to host and stuff like that. You know, that doesn't happen without fucking putting your work in and grinding and making phone calls.
Were you always just kind of a motivated cat, or like, you know, somewhere early on, like you had something that like kind of like set the tone for you, like what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been pretty motivated with doing what I need to do. Mm-hmm. You know, in the beginning, you know, like I said earlier, you know, money really isn't the motivation. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but if you're doing it for money, you're not going to make any money. You know what I mean? Because your approach is different. That'll cause you to make some wrong decisions.
It'll probably show up too, like when you know, are talking to people in the way that you know, kind of handle yourself.
The way you handle yourself too. Exactly. So, you know, just with me, I mean, you know, I've definitely always been a motivated kind of cat. You know what I mean? But a lot of what people don't know, especially about the producing thing, is if you're producing full time, you know, there are no guarantees with how much you get paid, when you get paid. You know, you to a certain extent, you're relying on other people to put you in a position where you could get paid.
Right.
So the trick really is to kind of alter that power and put yourself in control. You know, me doing these Lap Charms and Life mixtapes, you know, I found one way to put my career in control. You know, I can come out with these anytime I want. I decided to come out with one every 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Then I decided let me put a release party together for the team. And then I decided let me put it out with, you know, WD out in the UK. So, you know, there's different things that you decide on your own that you take control of. You know, when I get placements, whether they're major or indie, I don't see a check for at least 4 months, 5 months, sometimes a year. You know, I've gotten paid like literally recently in the past month for some, you know, stuff I did early last year.
Wow.
You know, so it's never guaranteed, you know what I'm saying? But the trick really is not only knowing where you want to be and having a goal, but just keeping yourself busy.
Right.
You know, if I'm constantly working on something and keeping myself on my toes now, then, you know, the more stuff I do now, the more outcome and the more money I'll make later on.
Right.
And when I do get paid, the stuff that I do now will show up later on. So as long as you stay busy, and find different ways to get paid and get work, then you'll be okay.
All this belief has been finished. Could it be the one that I've been looking for?
Well, first thing really you have to do is, if your music is hot, that's the first step.
Right.
The music really has to be dope. It's got to be dope. If your music is subpar and you're an upcoming artist, then the first step is going back and working on your craft to bring it from subpar to crazy.
Right.
Like, your shit's got to be crazy, first of all. The second thing really is having a relationship with people. Knowing people and having people believe in you enough to where they're willing to conduct business with you.
Right.
One example I would say is, and not to put too much out there, but recently just getting down with Drew Hop and all the guys at Duck Down. I've known Drew for 2 years already, and just coming out with records, like Cardiac from Sean Price, the Helter Skelter records and all that. I've always, I've been on their albums and I've done stuff with them. I have a tight rapport with Drew, and Drew just so happens to be the kind of guy that's really out there doing other things, aside from that.
Right.
He's got a high position over at Cornerstone, so he's got little projects that he does. So recently he hit me up about an opportunity to have my stuff shopped out to different commercials and TV spots and video games and stuff like that, because he's got a little connect through there. So he thought of me and he called me up and told me to send the beats. So that's just another outlet for me. And all the stuff is non-sampled. So he thought, okay, I got this cat Illmind, who I have a good relationship with, and he's got a lot of non-sample beats, so let me holler at him. So he hollered at me. I sent him 30, 40 non-sample beats. So I'm just sitting here kind of doing what I do, and hopefully in the near future, Drew will hit me up and give me a call and say, hey, I got one of your beats placed in, I don't know, NBA Live or something.
Right.
I got a check for you, and that's that. There's no effort on my part for doing that. But the fact that
You got to know
I
him
was
first.
able to know Drew
Right.
and build a relationship with him through music. Drew got at me because he heard my music and he thought that my music was fit for boot camp and for Helter Skelter and the artists on Duck Down. So having that relationship with him benefited me, in the long run because of an opportunity like that. So it's just things like that, knowing people and having a relationship with them, never burning bridges with people, being humble about the whole thing. Shit will start coming. It's a long process, and you really have to have patience for it.
No doubt.
If you're patient enough and you work hard enough, it'll come together.